Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out, let people know I've gone live. And in the meantime, if you've never met me before, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And I'm looking behind me at my mess. And you can tell, I hope you can tell, that it has been a little bit of a day where I was trying to get a few indoor projects done and then also spend a little bit of time for myself. I went for a walk. I thought, oh my goodness, it's going to be my last opportunity to go for a fall walk before it starts snowing. It is kind of a joke tradition that here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, which is where I'm from. Well, it's not where I'm from, but it's where I live. I'm from British Columbia in all actuality. But I moved here when I was 18 years old. But on the norm, Halloween night is the first snowfall day. It's usually the day that we always have snow happening. And it was a really, really nice evening tonight. Now, I didn't see a lot of costumes. In fact, during the day, I saw a lot of like office people and stuff like that wearing costumes. But the little kids, I only saw one today at the grocery store, just an adorable little baby in a tiger, one of those little onesie coat outfits in the in the in the buggy. It was the baby was so cute. But I'm looking out my window and I well, it's probably not a street where you would have lots of kids going trick or treating and stuff because it's apartment buildings and it's a retail neighborhood. So I don't know about you guys. Let me know when you come into the comments what you had for kids tonight when it comes to trick or treats. My sister used to pride herself. In fact, she used to compete with a neighbor across. She lived in a loop and she lived with all those rich people in the big fancy houses and stuff. But she would compete with the lady on the other side of the loop. It was like a grassy park area, and all the houses just surrounded this one loop. And she would just have magnificent, like, what do you call those animatrons? The electronic Frankensteins and the ghosts, and she'd have lights going on and smoke and spider webs in the trees. And my sister used to compete with her every year. And my sister, she got pretty popular in her neighborhood because she was renowned for not only giving a bag of treats and a bag of Menards, which are like jelly sugar candies, but you would get like a little gift and you would get a family size chocolate bar. My sister, right? And she would keep track of how many kids that she would have every Halloween night. And she'd keep a chart and she would know this is how many we had last year. I'm reaching and aiming for this amount of kids this year. And she really enjoyed her Halloween. She's usually the queen of the holidays, and she usually just get me to decorate the house, and she'd always pay for the ornaments and stuff like that, and I'd decorate the lobby, and she'd always have like the coolest Halloween lobbies all the time. And yeah, it's pretty interesting because for myself today, I never saw any trick-or-treaters. And mind you, like I said, I did see some of the grown-ups, and it's wonderful to see the grown-ups, right? Celebrating Halloween, having some fun with that. It's important that we have fun, that we're enjoying our lives, right? There are lots of responsibilities that we have in life. We have a lot of things dragging us down, whether it's our health or families members' health, whether it's financial issues, right? Lots of times we have these things that we're dealing with and they just drag us down, drag us down, drag us down, and we allow it to drag us down, and we don't remember. And it's just a matter of remembering that this is life, right? That, that it shouldn't be absolutely awful. For me, when things are going bad, I tend to want to have all the bad happen at once. If things are bad anyway, bring it all on. But I will be challenging myself. I'll be trying to have as much fun with everything that's going on. I'll be congratulating, good job, Cindy, right? That sense of accomplishment that makes me feel good. Whistle while I work, right? I would just bring the best attitude as I could into it, but I would bring all of the crappy at the same time. Get it all over and done with. And it's just something that I recognized as a kid, as a young adult, quite often when things were going bad for me, I would say 80% of the time something else would come in and give me a little bit of a push or a little bit of a kick while I'm down, or let me know, right? And emotionally take me out, physically take me out, financially, and do it all at the same time, right? And I hated it. I always hated it, but I always knew it was going to come. And sometimes, if I could keep my mouth zipped, I didn't let people know that I was struggling stuff, that, maybe I could bypass a difficult moment. But if it got wind, anybody got wind in that, it was just an opportunity, right? To get Cindy off her, her high horse. And once she's off her high horse, kick her in the side, then roll her off the cliff. And then the sun comes out, right? Then the sun comes out and the boo-boos heal and you feel better emotionally. But can you imagine if you're just taking one hit and then you start feeling good. And then as you're just starting to feel good, then you're getting another. No, that doesn't work for me. If I'm feeling like crap, bring it all on. Let's just get this over and done with so that, the sun can come out again, that I can smile again and genuinely smile, right? Recognize that I got out of that one. That is over, and build a little bit of resilience and have that opportunity to maybe have a little bit of bragging rights in that, right? Not to smudge it in somebody else's face who's having a hard time in a moment, because in truth we don't know who's having a hard time because we're so masterful at hiding the troubled times. We all walk around like, everything is fantastic, not a worry in the world, right? We got this. And in actuality, things are falling apart in our lives. And when we do that, when we act tough, when we act like we got it all together, that there's no problem, who's going to know, right? Who's going to know? If somebody knows that you're having a bad time, yes, there is that chance that somebody's going to come in and kick you while you're down, but they're going to kick you anyway once they have that opportunity. So bring it on. Let all that pain just happen right off the hop so that we can just, right, heal from that, get over that, right? Congratulate ourselves and building a little bit of resilience and being that example to somebody else, right? That we're not going to fall, right? You want to kick me while I'm down? That's only going to show on you, right? Because I'm going to do my very best just to get up again and brush my knees off and carry on with whatever I was doing. Robert, Robert, oh, I'm so happy to see you, dear. Oh, my goodness. I have not heard or seen from you in months and months. How are you doing? Happy Halloween, Robert, for sure. I did really good with a couple of old Halloween costumes that I had yesterday. I sold them both. Made $110 on two costumes. Sold them really, really fast. They were cute, but when I was looking at the pricing of some other Halloween costumes, I says, "Oh, my costumes are never gonna sell." I charged like twice as much as what anybody else was charging for their costumes, but sure enough, I sold them and I was able to get out. I took care of my cat for the month. I took care of the groceries for the month and those personal needs that the house needs. And I was feeling really good about that. I was saying earlier when I came in live tonight that I went for my one last fall walk and I thought it was going to be a fall walk. It was cold today. And I would have to say, even though it didn't snow today, you could feel the winter. You could feel the winter in the air, right? So the walks are going to be a little bit different carrying forward for the next, ah, what do we got? November, December, January, February. Usually by the end of March, the snow is gone, but it's usually still pretty cold until the end of April, right? So yeah, we're going into it now, but I've got work to do. We've all got work to do, and we don't have to feel bad that we're missing out on sunny beach days or because everybody gets a little bit shut down in winter unless you live in Florida or California or something like that, right, where it's like beautiful all the time. But I like the seasons. I like a distinct change in seasons because it moves me, right? Right now, I feel moved to buckle down, right? Switch over the closets from the winter closet, the summer closet to the winter closet, in pulling out all the winter gear, finding places for it. I just found my bucket of scarves and gloves yesterday. I had no idea. I tore my house. I knew they were here somewhere. I just didn't know where they were. And I'm usually pretty organized when it comes to the gear, right? But I accidentally stuck it in a different bucket and but I found it and I brought it out and I went, "Oh my goodness, do I ever have some nice scarves and some nice gloves for winter?" I score them because I go through so many pairs because I hand them out to the homeless. I usually lose the right one of the gloves from the pair, and I end up going through usually about 6 pairs of gloves every year, 6 or 7 pairs of gloves. So I try to keep buying them, especially when I'm at the thrift store. I buy extra gloves and stuff so that I can give them away. And if I do lose a pair of gloves, that I easily can have another one quickly out of the bucket, right? And if I don't lose them this year, my intent is to always hold on to most of my gloves unless I'm giving them away, but I always seem to lose them, right? You take one glove off to play with your phone for 1 second, and then you leave it on the bus seat, or you drop it on the ground, or in the hallway or something, and we always end up, right, with one glove. And what's one glove going to do anybody? right? And yeah, so it's interesting. I'm all settled in. Even today, I after that big long walk, doing all then going to doing the grocery shopping, and then coming home doing a couple of loads of laundry, right? I made focaccia bread for dinner. It was so delicious. I had two pieces. Oh, it was so good on like homemade bread. And now it's all done, right? All the laundry's put away, the dishes are all done. I'm sitting here with you, all relaxed, right? I can go after my live show, run myself a nice bath and get a pair of pajamas and right? A sigh, a nice sigh, because I did accomplish today and I enjoyed my day, right? And everything went good. There were no wrenches, no disasters. I have to stop there for a second just to double double check that there were no wrenches in my day today, right? It's always amazing when you can make a little bit of movement, right? Sometimes it's in that two step forwards, three steps back, but when you make those two-step forwards and you get to keep those two-step forwards, it's absolutely amazing. That's the getting ahead. That's the getting things done. That's like good job, Cindy. And we need to feel that more often, right? I don't just want to be going through the grind and going through the same routine day after day after day and not feel and not see that little bit, even if it's just a little bit of wonder, right? A little bit of getting ahead, a little bit of today was better than yesterday, a little bit of, oh, I've got that. Was that what that was all about? And then you just feel good, right? Kind of feel good in this moment. Exhausted 100%. Robert, it's so amazing to see you out here and on my live today. If you had come in on Sunday, everybody would have really been excited to see you. Um, I'm good. I'm outside sitting in my winterized gazebo having a beer and you have your laptop. Oh, that sounds amazing. So I'm assuming the weather is pretty nice where you are now that you're able to. Oh, it's cool out. Oh, you live in the Southern Ontario. I'll be in Southern Ontario next year. I've picked my first park and it's just down underneath the Algonquin Park. I'm going to be going to Killarney. So my other four parks that I'm going to choose for next year will probably be, well, a couple of them anyway will be in that vicinity. I wanted to visit Killbear Park because when you look at the ratings of the park, they say Killbear is the most wonderful park out of all the parks in Ontario. I don't know about that. I've been to some pretty magnificent provincial parks. If you haven't seen any of those videos, Robert, I just posted my last of the trip that I did this year. Just go into my main channel. I did the four provincial parks that I did in Ontario this year. I did Blue Lake. I did Sioux Narrows. I did Silver Falls. And I did Erin Provincial Park. And they were absolutely magnificent. My camp spots were beautiful. And fall was amazing. But they're all there, and you, even if you want to, you can go in to my playlists, and I've got all my provincial parks in a playlist, so you can just go straight to the playlist and they'll just show you one park after the next. That's a lot of Cindy, because each one of my videos this year was over an hour long, except for the one trail one I did, because I had a little trail video that I did too this year. I had five videos this year, and it was good. That was good for me. I did 12 different parks last year. Um, and I did those in 13 days, and I didn't get to enjoy any of my parks. Well, of course, I enjoyed all my parks, but I didn't get as much out of them as I did this year. I got so much out of my provincial park camping spots this year, and it's incredible. It was the best year in my mind. It was the best year that I had. But also at the same time, in saying that, I was so exhausted, even more exhausted than when I did my 12 provincial parks in 13 days. I was so exhausted this year. Just being in Mother Nature just sucked everything out of me. But at the same time, it replenished me. And it was just one catastrophe, right? One problem solving. It was just trip up after trip up this year. And yet it was magnificent. It was the best year that I had of all the years that I've done this trip. And I've been doing this trip for years and years now. Okay, you guys, if you haven't hung out with me for any length of time, these are 54 powerful words. We're just going to pick a word, we're going to go into it. It'll be coming from the first thing that hits my mind, the first perspective, the first story, first experience, right? And we'll just go into that word for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to call it a week, right? Because Saturdays I take off for myself. So that was one of the reasons why I got all these chores done today, so that tomorrow I can flake out, do whatever I want. If I want to go for a walk, or if I want to be online and have conversations, or if I want to be online and be taking lessons, if I want to do some whatever I want to do, right? It is going to be wide open, and I'm not going to give myself one chore tomorrow. I'm just going to do whatever comes to my mind in the moment. Okay, you guys, here we go. Let's just pick the card. Oh, yeah, for sure, Robert. You should come in on Sunday and say hi. Everybody would be so excited. They haven't seen you for the longest time, and there would be some catching up there, right? And if you don't come in on Sunday night, I'll let everybody know, right, that you came in and said hi to me this week. It's so nice to see you, Robert. I haven't seen you for a long time. I hope everything is going well for you. I know, like, you were having some issues within your family and stuff. I hope that is settled down, or at least you got a little bit of a handle on it now. I hope that is working out for you a whole lot better than it has been in the past few years. But yeah, if you get an opportunity to come in on Sunday night and say hi to everybody, they're all there. They still comment. I have no idea. I'm so grateful. I have the most amazing crew ever, that they support me the way they do. But they've been with me for so long, and I have changed so much. And it's so amazing that they love me no matter who I am or what I change into. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, here's the word: effort. Oh my goodness. Effort. Where there is no effort, there is no gain, right? We are not privileged. Like, lots of people think outside that they are privileged, that the world revolves around them because they have a few dollars that they can create, right? New homes, new incomes, vacations, new cars. But you know what? That isn't the real program for our lives, right? We chase the wrong things. We should be chasing the joy, the beautiful landscapes. We should be chasing good relationships, right? We should be chasing the important things in our life when we were talking about making some movement, right? To do better by ourselves than what our parents did, do better by our children than what our parents did by us, right? But if we don't put that effort in, we're not going to make that movement, right? We're going to stay stuck. We might not move past where our parents even left off. Where I'm sitting right now, okay, I'm grateful for my good health. That's something that I have that my parents didn't have, is that physicality, that good health to be able to get outside in my more mature years and be physically active that way and not have the aches and pains of the everyday, right? Day in and day out. I am so grateful for that. And that is because I paid attention. Right? There were lots of things. I took vitamins. I wear good shoes. I see a doctor when I need to see a doctor. I don't treat the medical system like a social event where I'm imagining a pain and then I'm going and I'm taking prescriptions for these pains that sometimes just a good walk, sometimes a new job, because sometimes when we're agitated and stressed out and we hate our jobs, we hate our lives, we create these physical symptoms, or these physical symptoms arise to kind of get our attentions to say, get out of there, right, this is going to bring you down, this is going to cause you stress, and that stress is going to cause you medical issues. And because we sometimes, for myself, take precautions in that, like I said, I wear good shoes, I take my vitamins, I'm drinking fluids all the time, I whistle while I work, right? I give myself those allowances to have rest and joy, and I plan that ahead in those small rewards that I give to myself, and it makes it so that I can, right, make a little bit of a joyful life. But where I don't put that effort in, right, I'm not going to get any gains in that. If I didn't take my vitamins, if I didn't drink my water, if I didn't wear good shoes, if I didn't go for my walks, if I didn't pay attention to my stress levels, right, where would the gain be in that? My gains come because I do all of that I take care of myself, right? I explore the inside and the outside. And because I explore the inside and the outside, I know what the inside needs and I know what the outside needs. But it's only going to be in my choices that we're going to see changes and good results from those efforts that we put in, right? But lots of times we put that effort in and we don't see those results. It's because we wanted things yesterday, right? And the things we want are the things we want sometimes, and not truly the things that we need. Now there's some food for thought. Okay. Melvin's in tonight. I lost my effort years ago, Cindy. Now I just take it day by day, whatever comes. I do a lot of the ride the waves too, Melvin, but I love the energy of life, right? I love the pursuit of it. And I think, even if I was 80 or 90 years old, I would still treat my life that way, to try to get as much out of it as I possibly can. I've been that way my entire life, being denied so much. It kind of makes you chase after a little bit of what you think that you might be missing. But then again, right? Maybe I need to take a little bit of advice like you do, Melvin, right? And not worry so much about that effort. But I don't think I can do that. It's just not my nature because I believe, right? I really do believe where there is no effort, there is no gain. Okay, you guys, that's it for me tonight. I will I will be back on Sunday night for Chatters Live if you want to come and hang out. Like I said, Robert, everybody would be so excited to see you. Nobody's seen you in months and months. Again, I hope everything is going good for you. Melvin, I'm so happy that you're doing good, and yeah, that you don't have to put that effort in. And you know what? Sometimes you don't think what you're doing is any effort because you love it so much, right? When you're out in the fields and you get in your fields, right? You're accomplishing stuff. You're putting that effort in, and the gain of having all your fields all taken care of, right? That is effort, right? But Melvin, because you love it so much, you don't think of it as work, right? And in the end, there's still a reward. There's still a reward. Doesn't matter that you don't feel like it's like work in any way. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. And we'll see you on Monday if I don't see you on Sunday.